Welcome back to Wall again, and this week we have Eric returning for another Pink Floyd review. How you doing, Eric?
How's it going, Rob? Glad to be back again, man. Let's
Yeah,
talk about Animals. Great album.
yeah, absolutely, an absolute classic. So we'll just run through a couple of facts to start us off there. So, Animals by Pink Floyd, released in 1977, 10th studio album by the band, gone four times platinum in the USA, two times platinum in Canada, and went platinum in the UK as well. Got to number one in five countries: in Germany, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, and New Zealand. Progressive rock album, released through the Harvest and Columbia Records, depending on which side of the pond you were on. Produced by Pink Floyd themselves in their Britannia Row Studios in London. And for me, this one is certainly what you call a headphones album.
Yeah, definitely, Rob. Yeah, it's a fantastic album.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's five tracks on it, but it's not really split up in tracks.
Yeah, man. It's it kind of has. So it starts off with that acoustic vibe on Pigs on the Wings, and it finishes off with that song. And that was a song that Roger Waters had written for his wife at the time. It was meant to be a love song, but they ended up putting it on there anyways. And like listening to the album, it's a very raw kind of Pink Floyd sound compared to the predecessor, Shine On, or Wish You Were Here, Dark Side of the Moon. So it's very raw, and you have to remember the context of when it was recorded in the '70s during like the whole punk movement, and
Yeah,
the whole famous like Sex Pistols T-shirt, "I Hate Pink Floyd."
yeah,
It's very much the album is anti-establishment. I think they've said it. It's a political and social commentary on capitalism, and
yeah,
the whole story of the album is that the three different types of people, categorized by dogs, pigs, and sheep.
yeah.
So amazing album. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah,
Love
I read somewhere it was loosely based on George Orwell's novel,
Yeah.
Animal Farm.
Animal Farm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She talks about, it's anti-capitalism. It's kind of pro communism, but you've got the three different characters or different types of people, as you mentioned there. You've got the predatory dogs, the ruthless pigs, and then the mindless and unquestioning herd of sheep.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's pretty
then
cool, man, Um
yeah,
I think all the bands, like all the band members, I mean, they all come out on top in terms of their sound. They had their own studio, Britannia Row, and again they were able to put a lot more time into this, versus when they were in the studio for like Dark Side of the Moon and like Abbey Roads, they weren't at the luxury of having the record label pay for it. So they had their own place to record it. And I think it sounds honest. In how they're playing the songs, it's definitely a middle finger to like the whole society of England and the government and whatever was going on at that time.
oh, for sure, definitely. And yeah, as I said, like the production is amazing. Like the way, like listening to it on headphones, you can really appreciate how well produced this album is in terms of, the use of effects, the use of panning hard right and hard left on certain
Yeah,
instruments, the way they introduce certain passages of music to bring in like a mood. And then, of course, Gilmore is on fire on this one
yeah,
on guitar.
yeah. Really, like, his guitar playing is really cool. On Dogs, that middle eight solo, it's spectacular. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it was really a Roger Waters led album, wasn't it? He wrote most of the tracks
Yeah,
on
that's right. I mean, you can see on the sleeve,
it.
he's
Yeah,
credited with all the songs.
yeah,
Um, he's had, you can kind of see that, Roger Waters' ego creeping in, where it's like, oh, these are all my songs. Although like the first song and the last song are very short songs, but his name are on them, so he got more of a contribution credit to the album. But
yeah,
there's a story as well with I think David Gilmour was recording the song Sheep,
yeah.
and he had the guitar solo done, and he accidentally deleted, his album, or sorry, his guitar take.
Okay.
He's not credited on the song, which is I'm pretty pissed off with that. Like, but they got what's his name? They got their additional guitarist, Whitey, is it?
Snowy
That's his
White.
name.
Huh?
Snowy White, yeah, Snowy White
Yeah,
to play guitar on that. So, um, But yeah, I mean, like, what's your favorite kind of songs on the album?
Yeah, like for me, as I was saying, to you, I think it flows like music. I don't really see it as songs because even
Yeah,
within a song, there's like different sections. As you mentioned, the middle eight, and then you've got like intros, outros, guitar solos.
yeah.
It really just flows as
It
a whole
flows like one
cast of
piece.
music.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure. So
yeah,
Dogs for me is a standout. Like Gilmore is in top form on that one, in my opinion.
yeah,
The guitar, he does little pinch harmonics on the guitar, which is, before heavy metal really took over, and there was
yeah.
Gilmour, managing to get that stuff out there. But yeah, and the feel,
Definitely, yeah,
of course, with Gilmour, it's all about the feel with him, and
yeah,
he doesn't let
yeah.
us down on that song.
His guitar sound is amazing. I love Pigs on the Wings. I think that's a
Yeah,
really good song. You can kind of hear, the chord progression of Mother,
yeah,
and like this is Roger Waters being the front man of the band at this point,
yeah,
and you can kind of hear him, really kind of bringing together that sound he's going to use on the wall. But
yeah.
like that, I love Dogs. I think it's a really really good song.
Great track. Yeah,
Pigs is my favorite song on the album. I love the groove, bit of cowbell. Can't have enough cowbell. But I love that. I love that beat that's in that song. It's just really good. And
yeah,
then Sheep, you can kind of hear elements of One of These Days from Meddle
for
on Sheep.
sure.
It's that kind of like that rock groove that they have. Just a class album all in. Really, it's a fantastic album in my opinion. So definitely worth checking out.
Definitely. What rating would you give it overall out of 10, Eric?
Yeah, so to me, again, there's not a bad song on the album. It's not as good or as polished, I think, as like, Wish You Were Here or Dark Side of the Moon. But I still give it a 9 out of 10. It's top tier for me. I really like it.
Yeah. I'd be inclined to agree with you. For me, it's a 9 out of 10 album.
Yeah,
There's nothing I would change on the album. Like I think it's absolutely perfect in the way it's produced, the
yeah,
songwriting, the instrumentation, the guitar playing, everything for me is spot on. I don't think it's a 10. I think it's a 9 album, but still
yeah,
an
yeah.
extremely strong Pink Floyd album.
Stan, if you can imagine, they've just come off, of the two biggest albums of their careers. How are
Yeah,
they gonna, how are they gonna land the third one? So I think, in my opinion, it's a very honest album. It's a raw sound.
yeah,
It's them getting back to their, we're a four-piece rock band. Let's do that, and that's what that is when you're listening to it. It's fantastic. Actually, the album art is very iconic as well. So
yeah,
that's Battersea Power Station in London, and yeah, it's a famous story really that actually garnered all the attention on the album. So I don't know if you're aware of it, but they used to have these kind of blimps at their show, so they like blow up animals.
yeah.
And they brought this out to really it's kind of as an FU to the establishment or the government. But they chose this for the four pillars, which represented the four members of the band. And on the day, this pig is actually superimposed on this cover, but they
Yeah,
actually did do a photo shoot on the day. You can see the photos on the inner sleeve there of them going
yeah.
out to Battersea. And they flew the blimp, and it was too cloudy for for the shots that they wanted.
Okay.
So they went back the next day, but they didn't have a pointsman to to shoot down the blimp, and the pig broke free and actually went over to like Heathrow Airport and disrupted all the flights. So they're getting like news and attention. They're like that's free promotion for their album. So the album is already garnering all this attention before
Yeah,
it was even released, which I thought was actually pretty cool.
that is
So
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good story. Yeah,
Brilliant, yeah, and as you say, a very iconic cover at Battersea Power Station. I believe you've
yeah.
been there a number of times as a big Pink Floyd fan.
Ah, yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been there. So it's been completely regenerated now. So this is the
Yeah.
picture of it in the the 70s. It's been regenerated as this massive shopping mall, slash apartments, and the ultra rich live there. Like it's pretty
Okay.
cool. Well, you can do a glass elevator to like one of the chimneys,
Yeah.
and there's a whole like before you go in, it goes through all the history of the actual power station, but. Pink Floyd get the honorable mention for that album. And there's a few other albums, I believe, of other bands that have Battersea Toys. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but there are other bands that have used that album art for some, promotion of their music, anyways.
Class.
Definitely worth mentioning as well. So this is Roger Waters, us and them. So this is the show you and me went to, Rob.
That's right.
Back
Yeah.
back in was it 2000 and
2018.
2000, yeah, 2018. The reason why I'm showing this is because they Roger Waters does a fantastic job of performing pigs and dogs.
That's
There's a
right.
whole section in the middle of the show where they actually have this like blow up. It's almost like a screen, but it's the Battersea Power Station, and they fly the blimp around, and
Yeah.
then they play Pigs, which is again it's my favorite song off the album. But it's a massive fu to Donald Trump. You'd almost think the song was written for Donald Trump.
For
So
sure.
it's worth the watch. Definitely check this out. It's if you like animals, check out the songs they perform in this. It's top notch, really good.
Excellent stuff. Brilliant. Well, listen, thanks very much for coming on, Eric, and sharing that with us. Another classic Pink Floyd album. So let us know in the comments what you think of this album, Animals by Pink Floyd. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please hit the button. And if you could also like and hit the notification bell, greatly appreciate it. So that's all for this week, and we'll chat to you next week. Bye for now.
Because